How we doing today, man? Today is Monday. There was no news going on in the market. And yeah, no news Monday today. Always a little bit skeptical coming in. And today our game plan was simple based on structure, right? If we take a look at our prediction right here for the day, I had a long bias going into the morning. This is the drawing. And this is what I said here. I had a long, the pre-market prediction. I had a long bias, and then after that, I was kind of neutral. Didn't really think much was going to happen. And I wrote down going into the morning, like my prediction picture, I think price will go up. I want to see it trade above the high and then see which direction price wants to go. I'm not against taking longs to that high. So I wasn't against really taking longs to that high, but I wasn't necessarily looking to take shorts coming into market open, right? I wasn't really looking to take shorts. So if we go here to my NQ chart here, I kind of want to just go over my bias for everything. So we'll go here, remove drawings. So when I came into the morning today, I wanted to see price go higher, and the reason for that being I turned on the chart and it looked like this. As soon as I get in the morning, this is how I'm looking at the chart. Okay, here we are on the 4 hour. Let's see where price is. So on the 4 hour, I'm like, okay, cool. We just had a big sell-off, right? We had a big sell-off. We're in discount of this entire range, right? We're underneath the 50% from that whole leg down. So I'm looking at that. And then I'm looking at, where are we at on this leg down? So since we started moving down here, we haven't reached 50% yet. Maybe that's a possible area, right? What else do I see? I see that we are delivering from this 4 hour fair value gap right here, which is in discount again. We're bouncing out of it, the midpoint, the consequent encroachment. Then I'm scaling down again. I'm looking at the 1 hour, and this 1 hour is telling me that we are pretty bullish just because we are now holding this 1 hour fair value gap right there. And then the 15-minute was also looking bullish because at the time we made an inversion on the 15-minute. We closed above here, and we made a fair value gap again on the 15-minute here. So we made a 15-minute fair value gap inside a 1 hour fair value gap, inside a inverse fair value gap. So this is a kind of high confluence area for price to react. And this actually was market open. So this being market open, and I guess we're not in the replay mode anymore. This being at market open with the 1 hour here, and everything overlapping, I was ready to just I was anticipating longs. And the reason why I didn't like to just jump in longs right away is because we did have these order blocks holding price. As you can see right here, the first little bit of the morning, this order block right here, this up close candle, we closed below it right here, and we trade to it and come back down. So I was a little bit waiting to see what happened there. And as well, going to the morning, we had these highs here that were, London high and Asia high were up here, but I wanted to see these relative equal highs kind of here just all get ran, and also these highs here. So if we go to the 5 minute now, it looked more like this. Price was holding this imbalance right here, and this is the 15-minute inversion. This is the 15-minute fair value gap right here that we were holding, and we never closed below it. And in the moment, I was pretty bullish at this point because we were in the 1 hour, we were in the 5 minute, we were in, all these different confluences. And again, the 15-minute, just for context, ends up holding pretty strong. So this is where I'm getting all my narrative for the day. I then wanted to see price gear towards these highs right here, which we end up getting. And yeah, so at this point, I'm very bullish, but price action off open was not really ready to just rip up. So if I bring up the ES, I'm going to pull up the 1 minute. ES was in a very similar spot in the charts. And if we just look at how price delivered off open, we can take a look right here. So right here off open, ES and NQ side by side. Right here was market open, 9:30. We sold off. We got a little buy up. I didn't long this fair value or this inverse because on the 5 minute we had this fair value gap right here that we were respecting. So I didn't want to just long because we were respecting that to the downside, and we ended up holding. So it would have been a loss if I did take it. And this is where I noticed a SMT in the market was right here. We had an SMT, and this is when I started really paying more attention. As you can see, we swept the low on NQ and we did it on ES. I really started paying more attention to what was going to happen out of this area and if we were going to break lower. And we ended up holding the 15-minute fair value gap when we started moving higher. And this is where I was, where the best trade of the day was, which was right here. We had this 1 minute inverse fair value gap. We close above right here, right before 10. 10 a.m. opens, we wick down, so we create the 10 a.m. wick, and we close higher. So we show that we are holding this order block right here, and we're holding this inverse fair value gap with this wick. The best possible entry, in my opinion, would have been either the inverse close, or I think better would be right when this candle closes, because you saw the strength that the market had to retrace this thing down and move it all the way back up. So this would have been a good entry in hindsight, and you could have taken partials at this high, 50 points, and then held your runners to London high, and this would have been a obviously amazing trade. The reason I didn't take it is because in the moment, live time, we had a 5 minute bearish fair value gap here that I wanted to see get ran through first. So right here, you can kind of see it. You see where the blue box is, that's the 1 minute. And we had this 5 minute right above it. So I didn't want to get in early and see price, continue lower, because we had, I believe, an SMT here. We had an SMT here. So we could have been bearish, and I didn't want to get too eager. The overall chart is super bearish, so I didn't want to get too ahead of myself just going long before this 5 minute got disrespected. And then I also noted that we had this 15-minute fair value gap right here to the downside, so I really didn't want to, I want to be careful. But everything was bullish, right? We had the bullish SMT, we were holding this bullish fair value gap, and we were in a 1 hour, and we looked like we wanted to run higher. So everything was lined up. I was just a little bit hesitant. And unfortunately, when these candles closed, because this is the next 5 minute, the 5 minute closed right up here. So obviously I can't take an inverse fair value gap down here, and the market just went without me. So that was frustrating to say the least. And if we notice here, this 5 minute fair value gap actually ends up getting ran. And I'll actually remove the ES chart now because we don't need it up. We don't need the ES up. But what I did notice here was, or what I want to point out is that this 5 minute fair value gap actually ends up working very strong. So we end up closing above this fair value gap. We end up trading down to it. And then, actually I do want the ES up because I had one more thing to show. Was this. And we end up closing above, and we got something that I noticed because I expected the price to go higher, and I wanted to see at this point a retracement to a 5 minute fair value gap to go long because I didn't have any entry to go long. And I noticed something that I've heard called a fair value gap, an SMT fair value gap. So if we look here, we have this 5 minute fair value gap right here. Right here, we have this 5 minute, this big spot. And on ES, we have the 5 minute as well. So we have 5 minutes on both. And on the NQ, we didn't quite reach the fair value gap, but on ES, we actually do end up coming into the fair value gap. So right here, as you can see, it's like the same time. This is called an SMT fair value gap just because when one asset gets into the fair value gap and the other one doesn't, it's a SMT and it's showing a very bullish sign. So we actually end up getting a very bullish reaction out of here, and we hold this order block in ES and it runs higher. So there's actually no entry there. And if we look at where that happened, the SMT fair value gap happened exactly right here, and we end up getting a 30-second inverse fair value gap right after that, which would have sent price higher. Again, I'm not saying that's an entry, but it's just how I was observing the price develop. And if you look at what that looks like on the 1 minute, right, when we look at these, the SMT fair value gap in the 5 minute, what does it look like? Well, it's obvious that we're going to have an SMT at this low. So this low right here, which is the 5 minute low. We end up not taking out here, but we do here. So that's the SMT fair value gap. So an SMT fair value gap is just going to be an SMT on the lower time frame, but you can have more narrative because it's a POI, right? A 5 minute POI that can be used to give you some bias. So that's something I noticed live time. that was nice to build some conviction with and some confidence and some ideas based off of. And yeah, I didn't get anything off of that. But notice how we trade back down to the 5 minute here. We trade back down to the 5 minute. We also hold this 1 minute fair value gap. We get an order block here. We kind of disrespect it because we put in the SMT. We pump higher. We hold the fair value gap. We displace higher. We hold the order block, and we pump to buy side. So this price delivery was very clean for a Monday. It was very, 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 very clean. But just frustrating to say the least that I couldn't get an opportunity to get in the market, which is perfectly fine. I wrote down something that I was feeling in live time when this was happening. I wrote down, since I wanted to see price run higher, when I didn't see anything to enter off, I didn't mind not forcing it. So right when price started running higher, I didn't mind not forcing it because, maybe I can get an entry. Maybe I can get a 5 minute retrace and then a 1 minute inverse fair value gap higher. And I continue to write. But when it's running to my targets, I feel an anxiety that it will go without me getting a trade. I believe it's because since my bias is playing out, it's moving towards my direction. I feel like I should be getting in and getting rewarded. Also feels as though I did something wrong to not be in the move. I've had impulses to enter in worse spots just to get in, which is a dangerous impulse. So I felt as though since it was going in my direction that I needed to get in. And then I felt this anxiety of like, what if it goes without me and I don't get an entry? I also had that feeling of, what am I doing wrong? What am I missing? What did I not see? And the reality is there was nothing wrong with what I did, right? I saw the SMT live time. I saw this inverse fair value gap. But I had reasons. I had very good reasons not to enter a trade here. And that's fine, right? Just because I didn't enter the trade doesn't mean that I don't know what I'm doing, doesn't mean that I did anything wrong. It just means I didn't get to see what I needed to see to end up taking the trade, which is exactly what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to only execute when it's exactly what I want to see, when I have full confidence. Right when this thing inverse, we had a 5 minute fair value gap right here. We had a 15 minute fair value gap. I didn't know if we were going to be if we were just going to flip completely bullish, right? I had the bias for it. So when I saw it start moving my direction around here and I didn't get an entry, it starts making me think maybe I need to chase price. And today, chasing price, no matter where you would get in today, if you got long, I could have just jumped in here and then I could have just had my stop, somewhere here, small stop, and I could have still gotten 60 points. But that's not the point, right? It's not about making a move and getting profit, right? If I chase price here, I would have still won. But the reality is that more often than not, if I try and do a trade like this and I try and get in the market there because, it's going to my target, it's going to do something like this where it comes down and then it goes. And if I just waited for it to come down, put another SMT, hold the fair value gap and displace higher, then I could have confidence in the move. But I had this impulse and this anxiety to get into the marketplace because, it's running. It must be going without me. This is the trade. I had this predicted in my pre-market plan. I journaled this. This is what I was expecting to see, and now it's happening. So I felt like I did something wrong because I wasn't in the trade and that I wasn't in a position. But in reality, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not a bad trader. I didn't miss anything. But it's so easy to convince myself that I did something wrong or that I must not know what I'm looking for because I didn't get a trade. And that, why didn't I have confidence in this move? Why didn't I have confidence in this fair value gap right here? Why didn't I have confidence in, this 5 minute inversion? Why didn't I have confidence in this? And it doesn't matter. That's not the point. But I focus on the wrong things. And because I focus on that, it can lead to mistakes. So that's why I journaled my emotions today when I was in the trade, when I was observing on myself. And I said, and then after it played out, I said the trade or market idea I planned moved without me finding an entry. And I feel a deep frustration and almost self-doubt, like why couldn't I find the entry? What was I missing? So I felt a frustration. And then I also felt a sense of doubt. So I recognize that because there's a lot of times where I find good trades, where I see what I need and I get in the marketplace. And the times where I don't get in but I see something, it makes me feel all this doubt, it makes me feel all this frustration, all this anxiety, all this fear. And I'm starting to try and be more critical, more aware of where this comes from because I believe that's where I make all my mistakes. Today I did a really good job. After this happened, I went into my account. After we took the high, I didn't do it right away, but I saw price just chop around. And I went and I locked my account. And I was able to be happy with the day and say, you know what? today was tricky. Today, I didn't have confidence in taking a setup. I had confidence where the market was going to. I read price action. I got better. I observed things. I saw the S&T fair value gap. I saw the S&T at the low. I saw the 15-minute hold. I saw bullish structure. I did well. I saw the market well. I did good things. I have confidence in what I'm looking at, but I didn't have the confidence and conviction to get in the marketplace today for whatever reason. Reasons being confluence is not being met fully, right? Higher time frame fair value gaps I wanted to see get ran through first. No higher time frame pullback. No pullback on the 1 minute, right? So today I didn't have the greatest opportunity to perform, but that being said, I still can feel good about what I did because this is the process. This is how I get better, right? I don't get better by giving into these emotions. If I give into the frustration, I'll come in tomorrow and I'll take the first step I see because yesterday the first setup I saw worked, right? The first setup down here, this would have been the first setup I could have taken or that I really would have liked because of S&T, holding fair value, whatever, and it would have worked. And I would have caught a massive trade. So that's going to come in with me if I don't watch out, if I don't be careful, that could come with me into tomorrow and I could see the first setup and be like, well, I don't want yesterday to repeat. Let me just get in the market here because, this looks all right. Let me get in here. And then it's like, well, that wasn't exactly what I wanted to see. So why did I take that? Well, I took it because today or yesterday, I didn't get into the trade and I saw it work. And then I convinced myself that I did something wrong. And I convinced myself that I must be bad or I must not know what I'm doing. When in reality, none of that's the case, right? It doesn't mean that I don't know what I'm doing. It doesn't mean that I missed out on something. It just means the market was moving and I didn't find an entry. But it's so easy to convince myself and to tell myself all these negative thoughts. And if I don't control that and if I don't recognize those, it will lead me to bad things. It will lead me to sitting here and trying to take a trade. I am looking here at the paper trade, right? Because now I want to see what happens. Do we continue going higher? Was this a liquidity sweep? Are we going to keep going lower? Right? We have a 1 hour fair value gap now. I am just tape reading at the moment. Like after I finish this recording, I'm just going to tape read. My account's locked. I'm not going to take any trades. But if I didn't recognize the negative emotions and the anxiety and the fear of missing out, I wouldn't be able to sit here and lock my account. I'd be looking for a trade. I'd be looking for opportunity. I'd be saying, oh my gosh, what if we inverse this 5 minute, or what if we, whatever. And I'd be looking for opportunity that's not there. So being able to sit down with myself, reflect on how I'm feeling is going to be the key. And like I said last week and Friday, I had a tough week last week and I'm coming into this week with just trying to remove all the gambling tendencies, all the bad habits, all these different things to come in with a good perspective. And I want 1 week where I follow all my rules, where I feel great, where I feel disciplined. And today was a good day to build on. So even if we didn't find a trade, the biggest thing I need to take away from today is figuring out a way to not doubt myself when I don't win trades. Because I don't need to put winning a trade, and I don't need to correlate that with being right or being wrong, or being confident or not being confident. Winning a trade should not be an impact on my results or how I feel like I've done. Because today I didn't do anything wrong, but I have this deep feeling of I missed something, I should have taken this, because I know there's people that caught this trade because this was a good trade. There was good opportunities in this, but that doesn't mean that there's good opportunities for me, or maybe that doesn't mean that I should have been in, right? Just because there was good trades, just because you could have gotten in here, just because someone else did, right? Some people absolutely loved this trade probably, where you got a change in state delivery here, we retrade to it, we retrade to the inverse, and then we get structure out, right? I know for a fact people, as soon as this fair value gap held and we got a order block here, I know a lot of people probably entered off that, or this fair value gap, right? And that's fine, right? If that's how you trade, that's fine. But I'm convincing myself that if someone else found a trade today and I didn't, then they must know more than me, or they must be better than me, which could be true, which is very much true. There's a lot of people that are better at trading than me. And there's a lot of people that took trades today that are better than me. But that doesn't mean that I did anything wrong, right? There's days where I take a trade and other people don't, and I don't see those days, or I don't feel good about those days, or I don't feel extra good, I guess, because of that. But then when I feel like, I didn't take a trade, but then, I could have found reasons to get in here, or I know someone found reasons to, it makes you feel like you did something wrong, or that you're missing something, or that you don't know something, and that's just not the case. So I'm trying to figure out a way, because I'm not fully okay with it today. I'm not fully okay with the fact that I didn't get in, right? I've managed it, understood it, but I'm trying to really convince myself and figure out why, or not figure out why, but to figure out how to be okay with the fact that I didn't get in and not put any self-doubt on myself, because it's not a self-doubt thing. It's not a confidence thing. It's not a trading skill thing. It's I didn't see exactly what I needed to see, and I protected myself, and I did the right thing, and I didn't get involved in the marketplace when I shouldn't. So like I said, this week, I'm really geared to just following all my rules, doing all the things I can to just have a good week. Because if I follow my rules for 5 straight days, that will be something we can build off of. So day 1, we followed our rules. We didn't have a trade, right? I don't want, I'm not going to purposely just not trade because, that's one way to follow your rules. But today's one day down, right? We have 4 more days this week. We've already 20% of the days this week. We've already guaranteed that we followed our rules and we did well and we grew in confidence and we grew in learning and experience. So this week is going to be a foundation week. I'm just going to try and build off of it. I'm trying to do the right things. I want to trade less. I want to take 3 to 4 trades maximum. 3 to 4 trades, 2 to 3 being the goal. I want to take 2 to 3. If I can win 2 trades with a 2R minimum, that'd be very good, right? You don't need to hit home runs all the time. You just need 1 or 2 good trades for the week and just kind of hit your quota. So I really want to start trying to limit how often I trade and just really try and increase the strike rate, increase the quality, and increase how I hold them. So I think that if I'm waiting for just a setup that just screams, this is perfect, today didn't scream, this is perfect, and I didn't take it. So that's exactly what I'm trying to do, but it feels frustrating because I haven't been able to fully rewire my brain into the process rather than the outcome, which is what I'm trying to start accomplishing by building my momentum this week, doing the right thing this week, and following the plan. So today's a good day. Today was a good day. We got better. We learned a lot. There's stuff to observe in the market with the chart. And like I read in the journal here, I had emotions I had to deal with live. And we'll come back tomorrow and we'll keep doing the same thing, right? It's perfectly fine. But I did want to this video is to just document that feeling, that emotion, because I don't know if anyone else struggles with that. When you don't find a trade, but you knew where the market wanted to go or where you wanted to see price go and it hits your targets, for me, that causes a lot of self-doubt, and I'm trying to figure out how to change that and how to get better with that, because I shouldn't have self-doubt just because it went in the direction I thought it would and I couldn't find a trade doesn't mean I should start doubting myself, because I have plenty of evidence and data that supports that I know what I'm doing and that I can find good trades and that I can just change a few executions and I will be on my way to profitability. So I have to trust that, I have to believe that, and I do trust that I'm good at trading. I trust that I know what I'm looking for, and I just have to stop letting things that are outside my control affect my confidence, because that carries in, like I said, that carries into tomorrow. It might make me more anxious to get in a trade. It might make me more impulsive, and I have to treat every single day like I don't know at all what happened the day before, because I don't know what happened the day before. I shouldn't matter, right? No matter what happened today, if we won, lost, break even, it doesn't matter tomorrow, because tomorrow what am I going to do? I'm going to try and take the best trade. I'm going to try and take a good setup. And if I don't get a trade tomorrow, oh well. But I can't come into the idea of, I haven't traded in, how many days have I not traded now? 1, 2, 5 days I haven't traded. So let me, I have to get in a trade now, or I've lost 5 straight, so I'm more bound to get a winner, right? That's not how it works. It's not true. That's a deception trick that your brain plays on you, because yesterday's results or outcomes have no correlation to tomorrow. So tomorrow I show up and I do the right things because it's the right thing, not because I want to trade. And I think we're on the right path. So we've already done 20% of this week with good habits and following our rules. So I'm in control, right? I am in full control of if I follow my rules, if I stick to my plan this week, right? If I stick to my plan this week, I can't fail, right? I cannot fail, because what happens? If I come in tomorrow and I find a good setup and it wins, great. If it loses, great, because that's what my plan set out to be, and I can learn from that. I can figure out, okay, where did I go wrong? But I'm at a point with my trading where I know what I'm looking for. I know what works. I know that it will become profitable. I just have to limit all the paper cuts, all the emotional decisions, all the rash decisions, and I have to let my things happen the way they're supposed to happen, and I will see the benefits. I just have to start being more consistent with my mind and my mental and my habits, which is what we're going to do this week. So I appreciate everyone that watches the videos. Wanted to come on and talk about that. Don't know if it's relevant for anyone, but again, something that was good for me to talk about and kind of get off my mind and kind of just put out there and just work through. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Hope you guys had a great day. Appreciate all the support on the channel. We're at 2,400 subscribers, which is crazy stuff, man. And yeah, dude, I had a really fun time betting NFL this weekend. Again, I bet for free. I do not put in any of my own money to sports betting, but I bet for free. And, we cashed out this weekend, man. We cashed out on a 5-leg, nice plus 1,000, plus 900 parlay. on NFL was really cool. Steelers got the win against the Ravens. Packers got a blocked field goal for the win. Lions smoked the Jags. Everything was going great. And what about that Bengals game, man? That Bengals game was crazy. I am on Twitter now for anyone that is at this point in the video. I know a lot of you guys went over there and followed me, which I appreciate. I'm going to start. I just post randomly on there. Trading stuff, not trading stuff. Whatever I want to post, man. I don't really know how Twitter works. I don't really care to learn how it works. I'm just going to have fun on there. If you guys want to see stuff, you'll see, sports bets I take. You'll see trade stuff. You'll see just random thoughts I have. Go follow me on there. It'll be fun. If not, it doesn't matter, right? It's just going to be random crap, right? But, yeah, it's Diego B Trades on Twitter. Diego B Trades. Let me just confirm that I'm saying it right. But it's Diego B Trades. Right now we're sitting at 35 followers. Wow. So it's Diego B Trades on Twitter. So go follow me on there. I posted my parlay yesterday, and we'd like to have some fun on there. I don't really know what I'm doing over there. I don't know how it works, but we'll figure it out. So appreciate all the support. Just want to shout that out. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day. Do something fun. Get outside. Get better. Peace.